Hi all, thanks for joining in. So I'll start by, do a little bit of introduction. My name is Kathy from Meekco.Asia. So we are a full stack conversion marketing company based in Malaysia and Singapore. We help retailers and brand owners to build and grow their digital commerce. Recently, we've also joined Facebook as their global expansion partner to bring retailers and brands to cross-border digitally. And if you're familiar with us, we're also the Shopify expert partner, building Shopify and Shopify Plus stores since 2016. So let's start. Today, we have like 3 esteemed partners with us, to talk about this topic. What does it take to scale your startup today? And I believe, especially during this COVID pandemic, it really hits in some way or another, especially for startups that are in the growth stage. So let's start with a little self-introduction, maybe starting from Shahid and then Patrick and Yuki, a little bit about yourself, your background, and what do you do? Let's take it away.
All right, thank you, Kathy, and hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here. My name is Shahid. I'm glad, Kathy, you got the name correct. A lot of people look at my name and call it Shahid, and Shahid means a dead man. It's a martyr, so I'm not dead at all. I'm alive and kicking, so thanks for getting that name correct. I don't get that all the time, so really happy with that. I lead the HubSpot business here in APAC. I'm based in Singapore, our headquarters, and HubSpot is primarily a platform company helping customers in their front office interactions, be it marketing, sales, or services. So we have basically an all-in-one tool which helps customers to serve their end customers across their journey line. And we are in the APAC region for the last 6 years. We are a 14-year-old company, and our mission is to help millions of organizations grow better. And that's what we're trying to do here in the APAC region.
Cool. Next up, maybe Patrick, you want to do startup?
Sure, happy to. Yeah, very nice to be here, guys, and nice to be on this panel here today. Very excited to see what we can share with each other and how we can learn from each other. So yeah, very excited. I'm managing director of Insider for APAC. Insider is a growth management platform, so we help you to personalize and upgrade and overall orchestrate your customer interactions across the different touch points that you're interacting with your customers. So be it on the app or WhatsApp or website or email or Facebook Messenger, SMS, whatever you have. So Insider helps you to aggregate your data silos and to create more engaging experiences with your customers to then drive growth, right, from first-time customer acquisition to retention, churn prevention, and so on. And we do this as a modular platform. So you basically pick and choose those parts of the platform that are relevant for you to help you manage your growth. For me personally, my background is quite diverse, actually. So when I first came to APAC, I was working with Zalora. Over there, I was the fashion e-commerce for anyone who doesn't know. I was working with Zalora. I was driving the app experience, the website experience. So I was responsible for that part. In the B2C space, was there in the very early days, and then scaled up from there. And then for the past 4.5 years, I have been with Insider in the B2B space, so in the marketing technology space, where I have some B2B experience, but also some hands-on experience with working with our customers across a lot of different industries, be it like in travel with Singapore Airlines, or telco with Telkomsel, or FairPrice when it comes to retail, online and offline, or Photobook, for example, in Malaysia when it comes to pure play online game players. So a fairly diverse set of experience, I think, in terms of scaling and overall growth marketing. So hope I can share some exciting and interesting insights for you today, and also very excited to hear from the fellow panelists what they have to share and learn from them.
Interesting. Seems like you have scaled a startup back then. Next, Yuki?
Yes. Yep. Thanks for the introduction. I'm Yuki from Geniee. It's a member of SoftBank Group, and I'm myself responsible for the running the international 5 companies under this SoftBank Group. And also I'm a co-founder of Waseda M&A Partner, which is a startup-focused M&A firm. And so if you have any trouble, you can directly reach out to me. I'll be your advisor, and I'll be your consultant for M&A stuffs. And after Geniee, this company is now growing, combining both auto tech and also martech. And we are providing other technology services working with Google and a couple of other global players. And we reached to 150 million US dollar annual sales revenue for this year. So thanks for the introduction, and I'm very excited to join this discussion.
Nice. Short and sweet. So if anyone who wants to reach out for them, you can always find them in like the, always chat with them under their profiles. So I would like to start with like just a quick icebreaker, which is like just a round of short answers to one question. So name a technology company that has drawn your attention during COVID-19 in the past months with the innovative ways to successfully capture and retain their customers or even expanded their revenue stream. And another question is like, to top it off, what is the one thing that they are doing it right? So who wants to start first?
Okay, myself, I like to go first. So as a family member of SoftBank portfolio companies, I'm working with Grab, Didi, and Uber, and also a couple of other mobility companies. And these mobility companies under this COVID-19 expanded their businesses, not only for the businesses, but also they are providing very essential level of their services to all over the world people. And they are also providing some medical services and also delivery of the foods. So one of the example I like to touch in this session is their pivoting and redefining the business model. So those companies I have just raised are starting from the mobility services, but in this COVID-19, they have shifted more to the food delivery and also their advertising services onto their mobility cards and also the rear seat of the advertising technologies they have implemented. So shifting and pivoting is one topic if we can cover in this session.
Nice. Mobility, right? Just like Grab and yeah. How about Shahid? You want to go next?
Yeah, I'll give you an interesting example because it's to answer that full question you had. I had a lot of admiration for Netflix. Again, it's not a new tech company. It's been there for quite some time. And a few months ago, during the thick of COVID-19, they said if someone has not used our Netflix platform, has not watched any content for the last few months, and they're still paying for it, we're just going to auto cancel that account so that the people were running short of money. Like the world was going through a very tough time, and they said we will proactively help people to manage their money better. And if you've not seen our content for quite some time, we will just auto cancel your account so that you can save that money for yourself, which I thought was a really awesome move to not only win over customers in the long term, but also build their brand quite a bit, right? So I think their focus on that customer experience in a way when you're not even a customer was pretty amazing for me. And then I'm sure you've been following the news of late. They have been on the other side of things where they have increased their subscription price. And I'm like, okay, now that was a great move first to deliver on customer experience. And now you're taking that away with this move. So it's very interesting. And for me, that biggest learning is that you should always strive to build on customer experience and see how you can delight your customers. And every good thing you do helps, but one bad move can really take you 10 steps back on your brand and your likability in the market. Yeah,
I know. Like Netflix have to reduce their bandwidth as well so that everyone can watch and stream nicely and watch their movies on Netflix. Yeah, that's crazy. How about Patrick?
I think, I mean, there are a lot of great examples, I think, of what has been done well in this period. Like some of it, I think, voluntary and intentionally. A lot of it also just involuntarily. I think a lot of business also got quite lucky during this time. From personal experience, I think one of the things that I saw maybe also somewhat related. So I think now everybody's being at home and everybody's kind of like looking to see how they can exercise and how they can stay in shape. So personally, like, I mean, this is just between us. It's not like anyone is watching, right? So I started doing yoga, and I downloaded an app called Downward Dog, I think. And they have like multiple different apps as well for HIIT and other kind of exercises. And they went quite aggressively in their pricing. And I think that is something that people, as a business strategy to lock people in now for a long time period, because technically I was just trying it out for a little while, and then they signed me up for a full year of subscription at a heavy discount of like 60, 70%, something like this, I think. Which I thought is quite good, because well, helps me to develop my habit, hopefully, at least in their mind. And then in the end, like hopefully I will resubscribe next year as well. So I think it's an exciting time for customer acquisition. Whether or not it goes right and whether it pays off in the long term, I'm not sure. That depends on the CLV, I guess, that they can get out. Maybe it's like Netflix, where they realize that customer experience move did not make too much sense. Unfortunately, they now need to recover that lack of bottom line. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I thought, I think as a strategy, as an approach to use this, to see how can we use this current situation to acquire new customers and develop habits that then in the long term can lead to ongoing business. I think that's a very exciting and interesting way to look at this pandemic.
So it seems like you need to deliver the customer experience to their home. Those are the apps that are really scaling during this pandemic.
I mean, these are the ones that have the natural advantage in the market already, right? But on top of this, then trying to find a way to lock that user in for a while, hopefully develop a habit, and then banking on the long-term CLV and seeing this as a customer acquisition exercise, I find.
And to improve the stickiness of the apps. So also today we will categorize our questions into like 3 subtopics. I think it will be super helpful to all the startups, especially I think in the growth stage. Also called, I think Yuki mentioned, is Darwin C phase. So firstly, I think we will be talking touch on a little bit on the capital fundraising or investment. Secondly, we will be revisiting their business model and their product's value proposition. And 3, we will revisiting their marketing strategy. So, you know that according to like a McKinsey and Company's research, they have recorded like 20 times more participants in virtual conferencing like this during the first 3 months of lockdown. So it kind of like, it gets crowded as well in this space. So how would you suggest startups to utilize the virtual platforms or tools to increase the efficiency of their reach to both potential clients and also maybe investors? You can just share your view either on customers or if you're, if you have experience in raising funds, you can talk about on investors.
I can share a couple of views. I'm gonna focus here really on the interactive and interpersonal connection. I think the B2C part is not too relevant here. I find that trust is a very crucial component in in doing business together, in investing and so on. And Insider was lucky enough to be able to. So we raised our Series C in the midst of the COVID part of 32 million. And that, of course, is not easy, right? Because a lot of the things that usually you would do in person, you would get to know each other, you would fly over, and all these things you would do in person, suddenly not possible anymore, right? And I think it's very important to try to at least to also set aside the time to still build personal relationships. Also, when I now think about our clients that we work with or prospects that we work with, I think it's so important to still try to make this time to have an interpersonal connection, anyways. So on this one, for me personally, I find that technology cannot fully substitute, but at the same time, how else can we make this happen? And I did some weird things, maybe just yesterday, I was catching up with a good friend and colleague from another company, one of our technology partners, and we had a virtual beer. So we were just having, just sitting in the afternoon, like having a beer together and just having a chat together, basically, just to catch up, not necessarily something about business. I think, but that's how you get to know each other. That's how you build trust over time as well. And I think that's one of the things that's really important at this time. Like, so digital can, of course, like the digital tools can help and reduce the distance between if somebody sits in the Silicon Valley or be it sitting in India, Singapore, or wherever. Like finding that time to still connect properly and build trust. I think that's a very important part, and setting aside the time to actually do it.
Yeah, cool. Do you think? Yeah, I think Yuki can chip in.
No. You can go ahead.
No, I'll just summarize like what Patrick has just said. I was just curious whether it is it more helpful because you have been in Series A and B and then you're going to Series C and you have already built some connection beforehand. So what about some of the startups that they are looking to scale but they have not yet built the connection?
I mean, I can just very quickly add on top, because Riverwood was came newly in for this round of us, so they were not investors in Series A and B. But of course, Series A is a bit more risky. At the end of the day, I think VCs and investors, they also need to continue doing business as well, right? So you still need to have to find that connection, and you still need to have that conversation. But I think actually, Yuki, I think you're probably much more qualified to answer that.
Okay. Yes. Thanks. So for the Series A or earlier stages, I think I'd like to recommend MA tools, automated marketing automation tool. So these tools can engage with the potential investors, and you can measure how relevancy you have with the potential investors through the MA tools. And for the Series B above, I personally like to think about the strategic partnership, not only for the capital, but also the business side of synergy. So this one, probably automated M&A tool is not helping, but you need to create each proposal to the potential investors. But coming back to the first point, tools, conferences, what we can effectively approach to their potential investors. I definitely like to recommend these an automated M&A tool, and also their Crunchbase or the TechCrunch information. Then you can identify which potential investor could be interested in your startup or your vision or mission. And if you find the relevancy with the potential partner and the potential investor's portfolio, then you can propose your equity story more smoothly.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned about the marketing automation tools, right? So I think HubSpot also provides something like marketing automation tools. I think it can use both for engaging not only investors and also customers, because customers also if you have the revenue from them, you can kind of increase your capital as well. So how do you suggest to use the marketing automation tools in engaging investors or customers?
Yes, exactly. Same as the consumer M&A tool, but also you need to engage with the potential investor. So first touch could be LinkedIn or any other social network. But since you have a first touch, then you need to keep updated about your startup status and also the business production update. Then those potential investors would generate their relevancy and also their interest, as well as the favorability to the startup. So it's like same as the marketing funnel. So you start from the brand awareness of your startup company, then you can go deep dive into their intention to their actual investment from the potential partners.
Nice. Yeah.
I have a take on that whole virtual conferences and how you can actually reach out to your customers and prospects. Like, we struggle with that. I'm sure most companies struggle with that. At HubSpot, we used to run this annual conference in Singapore called Grow with HubSpot. We used to have like 1,000+ people come in, and we used to run that Marina Bay Sands. So we spent a lot of calories and effort to build that event together. And obviously this year it was not possible to do it. And we said, okay, what's our plan B? And obviously the plan B was to do a lot of these virtual webinars. And what we started doing was we started doing 2 webinars every month. And the ROI we got from them is actually even more than what we used to get from that physical event. So I think that shift has to happen. But it's also a very crowded place, right? Everybody's doing this. So how do you differentiate yourself? So I think in my experience, and this is also seeking help from our marketing team in HubSpot, they said there are 3 learnings, right? One is topic beats tactics, right? You need to have that right topic. If you're doing a webinar, you understand what do your target market want to listen to? What are the areas where they would really see value in coming to this webinar? So I think that one thing is very important, to have that right topic, that right subject. Then the second thing is you have to decide, is this webinar for volume or is this for quality, right? Is it for the top of the funnel? Is it for the bottom of the funnel? Because you cannot get both all the time. Either you can get 500 people on the webinar, but that's really to build awareness and build top of the funnel. Or you can get 20 very interested prospects who are willing to kind of move faster on the sales cycle. And you have to decide what is that webinar. You can't pick both. You have to pick what is the intention of that webinar. And the last piece is to set up a feedback loop. You need to ensure that once you run the webinar, you understand what went well, what did not go well. And every time you do a webinar, you try out newer things. Because if you do the same thing, you might start seeing depleting results. So try different CTAs, try different promos, try a different format and see what's working well. And then you figured out what's really a good format for you to run. So I think it's all these three things, topic beats tactics, volume versus quality, and then setting up that feedback loop are our three biggest learnings on reaching out to customers to the virtual platform last 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just to add briefly on this, I think like the last important thing, because I think all of us have shifted a lot to webinars and these kind of interactions. Very much agree as well on all of the points that I mentioned. I think like last thing, that's the only thing to add is like, and actually you kind of mentioned this already, but just to expand on it, a killer follow-up is so important. Like that you have like an immediate follow-up with the people right away with relevant content, continue the conversation with them with the parts that they were interested in, the parts that they asked questions about. A killer follow-up right away, and then make sure that you go. That's where you actually get the ROI out of your events. If you don't do it, don't expect that people will start like coming back to you or follow up next week when they've kind of already gone to another 2 webinars and forgotten about you. Right away, go ahead and then go out and get them.
Spot on, Patrick.
That's cool. So it's like you need to just close the deal really fast. So I think let's talk about the next topic. How about, let's talk about revisiting the startups' business model. Should startups relook into their business model, redefine their product's value proposition, or pivot in order to capture the current trend of digitalization? So I'll just give like an example. So like one of clients, they might need to do a lot of like tasting of the products, but because of that, they need to do online survey instead of sending pre-order samples. So that one is in terms of like some FMCG products, but in terms of technology, how can they, can they capture the current trend of digitalization? Yeah, including, you can talk about including like Zoom pitching, how about hiring online or even acquiring technologies? Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are running out of time right now. Maybe you can give the last few sentences to all our speakers. Thank you.
Oh. All right. So I think I just want to ask, like, what are the top 3 tools or platforms that you suggest the startups to use now just to reach their method? I think this will be really helpful for the startups.
I think maybe each of us can briefly drop like 1 or 2 that come to mind that are important. I believe so. Slack. If you're not on Slack yet, go to Slack. Like it's so important to properly talk to each other and to interact properly and to share everything. I think that's the first one. If you're not on Slack yet, please join us in the in the 21st century and join us. We're very important to catch up. Then having a strong video conferencing, of course, like either Zoom or whatever, very, very important that you can properly connect. And maybe some that's a bit more unusual and the other guys can maybe share others, but get on some kind of online gaming platform for your team so that you can properly connect, that you can connect with people properly, that you can have fun together, like because all the water cooler talk doesn't happen anymore. You cannot easily go out for a beer in most cases, right? So, and just everybody sitting in front of their laptops and just waiting and having a conversation with 20 people is difficult. But if you play a round of Among Us with like a lot of people or something like this, that's a lot of fun. Grab a beer or a tea with it or a coffee. I think thinking about how to drive company culture through technology as well and connecting. I think that those are some of the things that come to mind for me.
Yeah, I had a similar answer, so I'll not repeat myself. But collaboration tools are extremely important, especially in this virtual world. How do you stay connected with your team on a daily basis, make it more real? And I think video conferencing like Zoom or Slack, those are pretty much must-have tools, in my opinion. The other piece is, as we get more remote, it's difficult to collaborate together in terms of running a project. So tools like Asana, I think they are doing really well, and it's important to have this project management tools. You can pick anything you like. I like Asana personally. And the last, it's a bit of a plug, but I think it's important to get digital. Going digital is not an option anymore. And tools like HubSpot, there are other as well. So I'm not saying that's the only one, but tools like HubSpot will definitely help you to map your customer journey very easily in the organization. So you need to have a marketing automation, a sales automation, a service help-desk platform for sure. No matter which one you choose, it is important to have that if you don't have that already.
Okay. From myself, I think simply just photos, Zoom, Slack, and Calendly. It's our calendar schedule arrangement software. That will be really helpful for having a meeting with potential investor. And fourthly, it's about Crunchbase. So Crunchbase is probably one of the best things you need to you can brand and make your company's recognition well to the potential investors.
Oh, that's all.
And Insider, I cannot believe I did not say that. I'm very sorry. Like, and of course, Insider, the company I work for, we're great technology. Check it out. Check us out at useinsider.com.
Yeah, that's a good wrap up. So if you want to grab like a beer or tea with Patrick or Shahid or Yuki, just drop them, just look up their profiles, their speakers. You can just chat with them, leave them a note, and just, schedule a time or meeting with them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.